Talmor, Shishin Magachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
The thing that I fought tooth and nail to bring my son into is Dungeons and Dragons. That is the ultimate solution to parenthood.
I'm Alexis Ohanian. In my podcast, Business Dad, I'm hoping to open up the conversation about balancing careers and family. I talked to Rainn Wilson. I wanted to learn more about Rainn's advice to play D&D with your kids. Business Dad is available now, so be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, it's Bill Horvat from the Vancouver Canucks.
Hey guys, it's Brittany Palmer, the UFC Octagon Girl.
Hey, this is Trevor Hurst of Econo Line Crush.
Hi, it's Bob Lenarduzzi of the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Hi, this is Theodis Crane from AMC's The Walking Dead and WGN's Underground.
Hi, this is George Thorogood.
Hi, I'm Jackie Childs, social influencer.
Hi, I'm William B. Davis, the cigarette-smoking man from the X-Files.
Hey, this is Vinnie Paul from Hell Yeah, and you're listening to the Toddcast right there in Vancouver.
The Toddcast podcast
is powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
Starting your own business can be a real roller coaster. Certainly it's creative, it's fun, but it's stressful. The financial stress really never goes away until you make it, I guess. The constant decision making doesn't really help things, yet we do it all the time. We create businesses, your vision, hustle, grind, you watch it evolve. The creative process, of course, can be thrilling. It's innovative, it's problem solving, it's unforgettable. And 23-year TV host, you saw her on breakfast television in Vancouver, Rogers Broadcasting. Dawn Chubai is a guest, and she recently branched out, became an entrepreneur, and started up livesellingSchool.com.
If you're hungry, if you're driven, if you have something that other people don't have, or you can, amplify in a way that maybe they wouldn't have the opportunity in traditional broadcast. I think there's lots of work for everyone, to your point of some of the stuff you're doing. I mean, I kind of do that for other people as well. There's room for both of us because we both bring different talent.
Joining longtime TV personality Dawn Chubai is WBFF pro and Hitch Fit owner, personal trainer Diana Chaloux.
My husband Micah and I, we have an online personal training platform. We've worked with people online for 14 years. We were one of the very first in the online training space. So yeah, we put together people's nutrition and their workouts, and we've helped literally thousands of people over the years just, work on those new habits and, whether it's weight loss or building muscle, and go through, their own personal transformations. So yeah, I mean, I do that for them, and I do that for myself as well.
Another strong week planned for you. A fitness pro and online trainer, a 2 decades plus Canadian TV personality, and you'll hear from this week's musical guest in just a second. He's the singer in one of today's most dynamic rock bands, no question. My name is Todd Hancock. Appreciate you being there. As per, you can subscribe right now wherever you're most active. All interview videos are up at our YouTube channel, the podcast, our live shows, the world album premieres that we do with bands. Find all the audio at SoundCloud, Megaphone, iTunes, Spotify, all at Toddcast Podcast. So coming up shortly, in Stop Me If You've Heard This Before, pro boxer, former IBF featherweight champ Barry Awad, Kid Galahad, talks about his best attributes. That is powered by our good friends at FKP MMA. They train UFC heavyweight Caillou Bigfoot Machado. Learn self-defense, build your self-esteem, meet new friends, get fit doing it as well. My little guy has been going for about a year and a half now. He's become quite the little machine. He loves it. Vancouver's #1 training destination is at fkpmma.com. First, our first guest of 3, as mentioned, this week's musical guest, Sevendust singer Lajon Witherspoon. You've heard Sevendust, of course, on any good rock radio station since the mid-90s. They formed in 94. Big riffs, great vocals, and they're known for their killer live shows. If you know, you know. They've built a legacy in the alternative metal scene and remain just as relevant today as any point in their career. Listen to Lajon talk about their new album called Truth Killer, which they released in the summer back in July, and writing the music, the songs, and kind of putting it all together.
My wife said I was probably gone for about 45 days.
Wow, that's fast, eh? That's fast.
So we get in, but let me tell you how we work. So we get in and, we pretty much have a lot of stuff too, but then we get there and we write stuff. And the day starts at 11 or 12. And that's not even us in the studio with Elvis. That's us working together. May it be me going in to work vocally with Clint. May it be me vocally going in to work with John. May it be John and Clint working on, you know what I mean? It's like something is always, it's a constant, but and it's so exciting. Sometimes it's like, all right, I'm going to get up today. I'm in your room at 11 o'clock and I'll be up there with you until 3. And then I'm gonna go back downstairs with John. And then, so it's constantly going. It's pretty cool the way we work when we get in the studio.
That is cool.
And so by the time that I'm done, I'm pretty much resonating. I know it feels good when I have that hum in my body from singing. It's just like a constant, and I'm working. And so I feel conditioned and it's good to be in that spot with Elvis and being at that point where you're comfortable and everything's going to get done well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for everyone to hear this album Friday.
And when you think about it, Sevendust has carved out an enviable career. Grammy Award nominated albums, multiple Billboard chart topping albums. If you're a fan, you're part of the Sevendust family. They really do identify and connect with their following. It's great to get Lajon on a Zoom. It's been over like 10 years since we last spoke, going back to my days at CFox as their afternoon drive host. This time around, we talked for just over half hour. You can hear it, you can see it right now at all of our socials. Covered a lot of ground. Pantera and the Abbott brothers came up. So did songwriting and their process with the band. Tour life and how it differs now compared to back in the day. We talked about the New York Marathon and how one of the band members actually ran it, and how their tour bus once caught on fire.
The Cuddy Sark tour. And this is so weird that my wife now, she was my girlfriend, and she happened to be following the bus with her sister because for a whole, too long of a time for me, her sister would come and hang out. And if my wife was with me in a hotel at about 6:30 or 7 before the sun would go down, her sister would be like, let's go. I was like, wait, what are you doing? So anyway, my wife, she was my girlfriend. We were courting at the time. And I remember being asleep and we were driving. And I heard this scream, and it sounded like a woman screaming at the top of her lungs, but it was our bus driver. And I remember waking up and almost hitting my head and thinking that maybe we were getting robbed. I didn't know because just this scream, and he was like, get off the bus, get off the bus. I'm like, no, what's going on? And I remember running down the hallway of the bus, and poor Benny's getting out of his bunk, and he's hanging out of it, but he's trying to get his glasses on. And he's moving too slow. So I remember just checking him and him falling down, wondering what's going on. But by the time I get up to the bus, I realized that the front tire had gone flat and it was so hot. I think we were somewhere in Texas. It caught a fire. So the tire was on fire and we had to jump across to get out of the bus. And it was funny. No, it wasn't funny. We were all safe, but we made it on MTV. We were in a Walmart parking lot. And Sevendust, it was like the band Sevendust. It was on, if you can look it up, it was an MTV clip and the bus is on fire.
I'm Kurt Loder. Holy shit, Sevendust is on fire.
They put it out, but we're sitting out there. I remember Gabe rested, so he was our head of security, and he had his shirt off. And this guy's just a monster. He's smoking a cigarette on an interview. He's like, just had to take care of the bosses. You can't make it up, but we're all safe.
Crazy story, right? Scary stuff. Of course, you'll know Sevendust as tour dogs as well. When you think about it, a key reason why they're as good as they are. They've sold millions of albums worldwide. They're one of the most respected and enduring bands in the game. And Lajon talked a lot about that creative process, recording and writing, touring. And we went deeper into subjects like the shows that he's been binge watching, Love After Lockup and scary movies. We talked about how Sevendust went on tour with Nickelback and how Chad Kroeger is loved by the band. Lajon talked about documentaries and autobiographies, and how soon till you see that from him?
Oh, wow. Well, actually, they'll be doing some stuff like that. There'll be a videographer on this next tour. But I have also been asked about writing a book. I don't know if I'm ready to yet. But would people want it? That's what I don't want to be the guy who's like, yeah, man, it's about me, and then 3 copies get sold, and I'm like, I suck, or what? No, but that's a good question. No, that's something definitely in the future that I would definitely love to indulge myself in, and to tell the story, not just about me and my life, but the people that I've met along on this journey that have changed my life. So yes, that's something I will do.
Sevendust stands out as one of the best. Be great to see both the doc and an autobiography come out of Lajon at some point. Here's a band, you've got to agree, they lead the charge in a few areas. Consistency. How many great albums over the last 2 decades? So good. Their unique sound. Again, their live shows. They're absolute beasts. I read an interview a little while back where Chad Kruger was saying that, they took him out on the road, Sevendust, and how hard it was to play after they'd played their set. Cool to get Lajon talking about other parts of his life as well, like seeing New Edition, in Nashville, his first concert. We talked about Desert Storm, working during COVID, creating music. We talked about the NFL, the Chiefs specifically. He went over some of his memorabilia as well.
I could take you downstairs to my house, and it's a tribute to the Chiefs. I have a Patrick Mahomes signed helmet, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and several of their jerseys down there too. Yeah, I'm a sports guy. Actually, at my bar right now, let's see, I got a Lynn Dawson.
No way.
Yeah, that's a good one, right?
Nice, dude.
Yeah, wow. Actually, man, I have this incredible fan that comes out and brings me this type of stuff. This is I don't even know who this kid is. This is a rookie, but these are, I do all the sports stuff. I got it everywhere around the house.
They're all signed and shit too.
Yeah, let me show you this. Oh man, I forgot. One of my best friends in the world is James Shields. Big Game James. Played baseball for the Royals. Let's see, the Padres when he retired, and the Rays. I met him with Johnny Damon. But anyway, I have I got to put this in a frame. Got some of his shoes. I got his bats and stuff. But this right here is a specialty shirt. This was an All-Star game. It's signed to me, but this is his nickname on the back, and that's when he played with the Sox. So yeah, can you see me?
Insane, man.
Yeah, man. Let me see. If I thought about it, I could. If we had time, I would show you so much stuff. Let's see right here. There's something signed right here.
Red Truck Beer, delivered fresh. The official beer of the Toddcast podcast.
The way you're talking to me makes it seem like you practiced all your lines. You accounted for every word except the ones that were mine. You always get upset when I try to tell you what's on my mind. You seem to forget it. Don't got any strength left in this heart of mine. I'm hurting a little bit, hurting a little bit more than I'm used to. Hurting a little bit more than I'm used to. I just wanna work together, but we're fighting all the time. We never dress for the weather, now we're freezing all the time. I know it's hard to see this eye to eye. I know it's hard to set aside your pride. I don't wanna lose you again. No, I don't wanna be missing you in the end. I'm hurting a little bit, hurting a little bit more than I'm used to. Hurting a little bit more than I'm used to. Hurting a little
Stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
You'll better know Abdul Barry Awad by his ring nickname Kid Galahad. He's a British pro boxer, held the IBF featherweight title in 2021, multiple regional championships at super bantamweight, including the British, Commonwealth, and European titles between 2013 and 2014, and challenged for the IBO lightweight title in 2022. From 2014 to 2016, he served a ban from boxing due to doping. We talked about that. The protein shake that had him banned, and unbelievably that it was his brother who gave him that shake. We also talked about seeing Drake in concert, longevity in boxing, binge watching Netflix, 50 Cent's bankruptcy. You remember that? The UFC and Conor McGregor. And stop me if you've heard this before. Galahad talked about what he thought were his best attributes.
I think my best attribute is actually my mental. I think mentally I can figure things out, and I'm good at adapting to certain situations, especially when I'm under pressure, and just grinding out and just thinking under pressure, where most people, when the light's on them, they start falling apart.
What is it about your game? Do you think that you can pull that off? Is it a matter of just when you're back in the corner and you're listening to your coach? And
I just think it's just either a natural thing. You've either got or you haven't. You know, you see the fighters like Floyd Mayweather, you see the fighters like Bernard Hopkins, you see Andre Ward, and that's why they're the best, because it's not they're not the fastest, they're not the strongest, they're not the biggest punchers in the sport, but it's the way they deal with the pressure and the way they can think under pressure. And I think you can't teach someone something like that. I think you either got it or you haven't. You're born with it or you haven't got it.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com.
And now, highlighting our next Blue Light Sessions, powered in part by Canadian Club Whiskey. Meet your new cold one. We serve Canadian Club and Ginger ready-to-drink cocktails at all of our live shows. Visit CanadianClub.com today.
Okay, sing for the drum, please.
You're coming up, the sun is out. The deck is back, I'm gonna cry about, but I don't wanna play this game. I'm for pros and beta cocks. Don't play your game, cause it's test made up, but I don't wanna play this game. Trying to keep a chat about I'm lonely again. Let's get
The band is Wrong, R-O-N-G, and they are playing our Halloween costume party at Blue Light Studio at the end of the month. So it's the last Friday, October 27th. There will be prizes for the best costume. So if you're going to the show, don't be a stick in the mud. Come on, wear a costume. Wrong is playing. Cobra Ramon is playing, and we're brainstorming some other local musicians to jump up and play some songs as well. It's just $20 right now through eventbrite.ca, eventbrite.ca. Halloween plans, check. Costume party, check. Hope to see you there. Doors are at 7 o'clock. We'll start the show about 8:15-ish, no later than 8:30. Played You Chase the Bear. That was their song called Hurtin', and they just played a podcast show a couple of months back now. Killer night overall. Recommend you see these guys immediately. In fact, you can. Chase the Bear and The History of Gunpowder are playing together next Thursday on the 12th, October 12th. It's at the Cobalt, which is a very cool room for that show. That is a 7:30 start. So coming up in just a few minutes on this podcast, listen to this. Serena Ryder talking about how creativity comes out of boredom, which is an interesting thought and concept. That is powered by 6-year sponsor Tedco RV Supplies out in Langley. RV service and repairs, ICBC accredited. You can find them at tedcorvsupplies.com, of course, and on Facebook, Twitter, Tedco RV Supplies. A big love for Tamara, the crew there. I mean, talk about loyalty. And of course, I mean, a love for the local music scene. Unparalleled. So listen to this with Serena Ryder is coming up. First, the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week is our sporting guest, WBFF Pro and Hitch Fit owner, Diana Chaloux. It's powered by Hand Over Hand Textiles in Vancouver, naturally dyed goods for your home and your body. Bandanas, socks, dishcloths, scarves, pillowcases, shirts. You'll love their work. It's all top notch. And they only use pure plant extracts and natural fibers, so it's actually good for Mother Nature, Mother Earth. Locally owned and operated. You can find them at handoverhandtextiles.com. They're also on Instagram. So the WBFF, the World Beauty, Fitness, and Fashion, is a prestigious international fitness and fashion competition. HitchFit is a popular fitness program founded by Diana and her husband Mika. Or is that Micah? I think it's Micah. They really look into your health and they develop specific exercises and routines and nutrition plans based for you. Check out all the before and after success at hitchfit.com and you'll see what they're about. It's quite impressive. And Diana's also a motivational keynote speaker.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting. We're taking a shift. Like it's kind of, we're in this transitional time, Micah and I both, of like God's been tugging on my heart for years that I need to be on stages and speaking and sharing a message, and for men and women, but really especially for women. And so I've known it's been in my spirit for like a long time. And we're finally having this transitional period where through the retreats, we're hosting our first conference in January in Tampa, Florida. So not only will we be speaking on it, I'm coordinating it and kind of bringing all these motivational, like people with really powerful stories in. And so it's kind of starting to open those doors to that next chapter. So I have a new book that literally I'll have it in my hands. It's within the next week. So it's kind of these pieces of opening the door to, I believe in 5 years we'll be doing more, probably less time in the gym and transitioning that transformation that we help with to stages and to speaking and to really helping people dig in. And it'll probably be more in from a speaking point of view and from the retreat point of view. And I envision that we'll still have Hitch Fit. We still have that piece of things, but I see it taking it to the next level so that we can actually impact people on a much bigger level. So I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I think that's the direction we're going.
I love it. Yeah. So like kind of motivational outlook, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Just helping people with those mindset changes and helping them dig in to figure out what the root is. What is that root thing that's holding them back? You know, if they can identify that root and start doing the work, whether it's healing, whether it's trauma, whether it's, pain or whatever that is, if they can identify it and do the work, then there's next levels that people can reach.
The full talk with Diana is about a half hour long. You can hear it, you can see it all over our social media platforms at Toddcast Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Megaphone, SoundCloud. YouTube has all of the interviews and live performances we do at Blue Light Studio for the sessions. You got to love what Diana and Micah have done with HitchFit. I mean, setting fitness goals and transforming bodies and promoting a healthier lifestyle. You got to love that entrepreneurial spirit. And like usual, we got into it talking about how she once met Mario Lopez of Saved by the Bell. Diana shared a story about hiking in Norway, what you should look for in a personal trainer. Even Kenny Rogers and the Beach Boys came up.
For music, Kenny Rogers.
Nice. Okay. Coward of the County and
yes. Oh man, it was a lot of Kenny Rogers, country, and Beach Boys.
Yeah, same for me. Boys. A ton of Beach Boys.
Yes.
Ton of Dolly, ton of Kenny.
Yes.
Eagles. I got a lot of Eagles as a kid.
Oh, Eagles are good. Yeah.
You know, over the years, I've really started to like the art of the interview and learning about people. You can ask the same question of 100 people and get 100 different stories. Like here, Diana combines her career with the WBFF, a fitness program she came up with in HitchFit, motivational speaking, and she betters other people's lives. She really does have quite the story, and she shared in depth about cheat foods, fitness retreats, binging The Bachelor, seeing Dave Matthews Band in concert, growing up in Vermont, her love of sports, basketball, field hockey, and like you just heard with Sevendust singer Lajon Witherspoon, she loves the Chiefs.
Oh, I grew up playing basketball, and I grew up in Vermont. So I was really active as a kid and, outdoors all the time. And I played field hockey, which is kind of like an East Coast thing. Like you come out here Midwest and they don't even know what that is. But I played college basketball all the way through college.
Okay.
And started working out actually when I was 14. That was when I first got into the gym.
And what was it that got you in there? Was it just a friend or just kind of, to get more fit, or what was it?
It was actually a friend. It was I was a freshman in high school, and one of my friends was on the football team, and he was like, "Hey, the football team, we get up at 6 a.m. and we train in the gym before school starts." And he's like, "Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Sure." So I just started getting up, and I would go and meet him and some other friends, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, sure. But something's better than nothing, though, right?
It was better than nothing, and it made me feel strong. And I was very shy as a kid, so it kind of helped pull me out of my shell and gain some confidence too.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, are you still a big basketball fan? Do you watch a lot of games? You go to games?
I don't watch basketball. I lived in San Antonio for a period of time, so I watched when I lived there. But I've been in Kansas City for 14 years now, so it's all Chiefs. It's all Kansas City. It's all Kansas City teams.
So you go to Chiefs, you go to the game. You're more now of an NFL fan than basketball, or what?
Yes.
The Toddcast Podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
Said, he asked if I was sitting down. I knew before he even said a word that you won't be back around. I thought of all the things we had to say and what we left behind those doors. So many times I could have walked away. I didn't know that you were hurt. I didn't hear you calling, and you were screaming so loud. Say, if I don't know and never see your face again, I can't take you back, it wouldn't change a thing. It would hit me just the same. And I watched you fade. Take me back to all the better days when we were kings and queens and running things. Yeah, and I remember almost everything. Never start nothing, always finish it. And there were times that I didn't know you, and I was always searching for you, but you were running back and forth, yeah. And it hit me just the same. I didn't hear you calling, and you were screaming so loud. I would have thought I'd had heard it by now, but I was waiting my whole life for you to change your mind, yeah. I never meant to think the hurtful things I'd say. If I'd only knew I'd never see your face again, I can take it back, it wouldn't change a thing. It would hit me just the same.
Listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Serena Ryder was born on December 8th, 1982 in Toronto, although she grew up in Millbrook, Ontario. And you've heard her music since 2007 when her song Weak in the Knees was a big national hit. She's now 8 albums into her career, massive world tours, Juno Award domination. She's won 7 so far. She's hosted the Junos as well. Beyond the music, in 2018, Serena was given the Margaret Trudeau Mental Health Advocacy Award for her work with mental health. She performed at the Pan Am Games closing ceremony. She's inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame. And when Serena was a guest, we talked about Portlandia. What a funny show. COVID and creativity came up. So did David Bowie, seeing the Tragically Hip at Canada's Wonderland, just 11 years old. She talked about her awesome relationship with Melissa Etheridge, a near-death story about flying over the Atlantic Ocean. And you'll love this. She talked about how creativity comes post-boredom. Listen to this.
I feel like a lot of creativity comes from what happens after boredom. You know, and I feel like, right? I feel like kids these days and like the youth coming up, they're not really given that opportunity to be bored and to have to use their creativity to because there's just so much happening, so much, you know, I'm sure that there are some youth that are able to do it, but it's like before the internet, before, you know, these things, before, right, you know, having like 5 minutes of like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm really bored. I'm just sitting staring out a window.
Maybe I'll run to Dave's place and see if he's home, or, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go outside and that's when the creativity kind of starts flowing. And I felt like I had so much of that during the last few years. And
cool.
I started a record label with my manager called Art House, and we have a recording studio, and we started doing all of these mental wellness programs. We had a lot of time to be creative because everything was just online, right? And so we kind of took that up as an opportunity to start our Art House mental wellness programs, where like once a week it was free, and like youth and artists and people in the industry could come on and have, you know, group chats with really amazing therapists or doctors or, you know, teachers and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I learned how to play archery again. I used to do archery when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And I set it back up in my backyard. I ordered myself a bow.
Was it like riding a bike?
Completely.
Nice.
Yeah, completely. And just, more time in nature and hanging out with my, my fam.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies.
Oh, this is going to be one hell of a night. That's Cobra Ramon and Never Survive. Curious what we'll be getting out of her at our next Blue Light Sessions. Again, it's Wrong with Cobra playing on the 27th, October 27th. It's our Halloween costume party. And this time Cobra is flying solo. I think we've done about 4 or 5 shows together over the years, but this is the first time you'll see Cobra playing by herself. And like I said, we're thinking about, some friends who play to get up and play songs as well. It can be one hell of a night. For $20, it is a steal of a deal through eventbrite.ca. That's BRITE.ca. Advance tickets, simple search of Toddcast Podcast. You'll find the shows. We do cap these nights at 60 people, by the way, so you got to think that this one's going to sell out. Don't snooze, my friend. Played you a new song for Best Night Ever. That's called Didn't Hear You Calling. They played a podcast show with the Blue Light Studio last year. The best, just the nicest guys. Man, can they play. Holy hell, that's a tight-knit group. Their singer, Patrick Gavigan, has got to be top 10, all genres in Vancouver. I think realistically, it's probably top 5. Killer band, Best Night Ever. If you hear of them playing anywhere near you, plan the night. You will not be disappointed. Speaking of live music, you can find a small list of shows of what we're doing, but also whatever, people send in or we find through the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. In fact, if you're playing one, if you're going to a show, if it's indie, let us know about it. We'll post it up at the website. It's free promo. We're getting thousands of visits daily. I mean, you just got to keep me in the loop, which is fair enough, right? Okay, our final guest of episode 313 is longtime Canadian TV personality Don Chubai, this week's entertainment lifestyle guest, powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. They ship anywhere in Canada. You can get oils, hash, all kinds of edibles, peyote, vapes, lollipops, shatter, and a whole bunch more. The site is insane. Your mind will be blown. At registry, mention you heard about them through this podcast. It will instantly upgrade your profile on their website, sacredmeds.com. So being an entrepreneur, I mean, it takes guts. You really ought to be resilient and innovative, have passion and persistence. You've got to be able to learn from your mistakes as well. You need relentless determination and adaptability. You need to seize opportunities, embrace the uncertainty that comes with it, and turn ideas into reality. And Dawn has done exactly that with her live selling school, which you'll hear more about in just a little bit. For now, listen to Dawn talk about how she got her start in media.
Oh my gosh, I fell into it. Right. Oh. I'm a singer. I mean, I don't really sing anymore, but I was born and raised in Edmonton and I was a jazz singer, released a couple of albums. The end of my first album, I was promoting my music quite a bit on kind of like, breakfast television in Edmonton, right? It was called Big Breakfast back then. And at some point, I would do my music there. I would sing there. I'd promote my gigs. The odd time, I mean, they really were great to me because they would sometimes send a camera out to my gigs, covered my CD release party and all of that. Anyway, at some point they kind of said, why don't you come and audition to be like, this is back in the day when you called it the weather girl, right?
Right.
Now, sure. You're right. You're the weather girl and come and audition. Right. So I auditioned and I was not very good. I actually put that audition on YouTube just to kind of show that everybody starts somewhere. Sure. It's called Don Chubai Vintage Video, if anyone wants to look at it. And this, I'd just come back from Korea. I was performing in Korea for the Alberta Travel Expo, and I was representing Alberta along with Laura Vinson, who is an Indigenous group and dancers and everyone there. And I came back and it was the day after I returned. So I was completely jet lagged because, working on Asian time, then coming back to Canada. And I auditioned. It was not very good at all. They sent me a note saying, oh, we're going to go with someone a little more experienced. I'm like, that's fine. You called me. I didn't even audition for this. I have a job. I was working in public relations for a nursing association. So, I left it at that. I, still obviously loved the show and I still knew I would have potential to perform and promote my gigs on the show. And I think it was about 3 weeks later. I don't know. It was a long time. It was 23 years ago. And they said, hey, you've made it to like the final 3. And I'm like, how did that happen? You told me I sucked. Like,
how bad were everybody else?
Exactly. And they said, well, we know you don't have any television experience. You didn't go to, it's NAIT in Alberta, but that would be like the BCIT, right?
Yeah.
And they go, we know that you didn't, have any of the education that other people did. So, what we're going to spend a couple minutes with you and give you kind of like a flash course, right? I'm like, all right.
Wow.
So I came in and obviously it was moderately better, which I think would tell them that I'm trainable. Regardless, they ended up offering me the job. And let me tell you, and I don't know if anybody out there knows, I mean, everyone thinks media makes a ton of money. And let me just tell you, unless you are like a handful, especially local media, you don't. Yeah. But it was a great opportunity. So they offered me the job. You're going to laugh. And by the way, nowadays, like when you do like a morning show, like you are hired typically as a full-time employee, even though the show might be 3 hours, right? Yep. It's not just showing up and, hey, there's my job. I mean, there's a lot that goes into being on television and prepping for shows, and it's beyond what people see at home. Mm-hmm. So they offered me what they called part-time, which I think was kind of, obviously a way to sort of not pay as much. But hey, I'd never been in TV before, especially like as a broadcaster. They paid me $15,000. I took it.
The full talk with Dawn is now online. It's close to an hour long. You can hear it, you can see it. Another one of those Zoom chats at our iTunes, Spotify, Megaphone, SoundCloud. Of course, YouTube has all of our videos. So beyond media, you saw Dawn play the role of Anchorwoman in 2007's Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Cool to talk to another local broadcaster digging into the Wild West. I mean, today's media landscape is truly what you make it. And that's something that Dawn and I have in common. You know, both media entrepreneurs. Dawn talked about binging Physical and Yellowstone in our conversation, talked about Dr. Sanjay Gupta. He came up. So did cooking pasta to impress your friends, the Easter Seals drop zone, the craziest things that people do for their jobs. And Dawn talked about shifting away from TV and focusing and launching livesellingschool.com.
Yeah. I mean, obviously leaving Rogers after almost 20 years to pursue something that I think is probably into that future realm and not want to miss out on that. That was a big move. And moving back, obviously, you know, moving to Ontario and then moving back to Vancouver, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, it's been great. And, you know, it's an exciting time in the world.
Right? Absolutely love Dawn's story. As we always do, we went further than what our guests are known for, like finding inspiration. What is up with concert prices post-COVID? Dawn shared a near-death driving story. We talked about broadcasting skill sets, her husband's love of Rush, and since she's also a jazz singer, the music of Chicago, Billy Joel, and seeing Dylan in concert came up as well.
So the first concert that I went to with my parents, it was actually Bob Dylan, and Tracy Chapman was opening. I couldn't even tell you what year that was, but it was in Edmonton. Tracy Chapman was opening, and it was Bob Dylan. And so that was the first one I went to. My parents took us kids. And the first, I want to say one of the first ones I went to where I paid myself was Chicago with Peter Cetera. Because obviously different incarnations of Chicago, but with Peter Cetera.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that one had to be a mind blower.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why. I mean, obviously I like Chicago, but why was that my first? I don't know. Like, I was old enough. I had enough money to buy a ticket, and it was coming. I have no idea, because my criteria now for what would, you know, make me purchase a ticket, especially at the prices they are right now, and to dedicate like a night of my time, maybe traveling for it. The criteria I have is like, it's a list like this now, as opposed to back then, it would have been like, where's everyone else going?
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The prices since post-pandemic has just been mental. Like, what is with the $300 tickets, $500 tickets, $1,000 tickets? Like, what?
And the assumption that of course I need to go, Mom, Dad, can I have $300 to go to, or whatever, to go see Taylor Swift?
Right.
Yeah. Like I could imagine asking my parents for $300 or $500, which, you know, now in today's dollars would be, you know, whatever, but couldn't imagine,
I know,
you know,
right?
And then if you had to pay for it yourself, like that was rent back then. Sure. And even now it would be like, if you're living in Vancouver, a $500 ticket at the very lowest, you're looking at what, a third of the rent?
Right.
To go to a concert that you may or may not like, and you may or may not even have seats good enough to see. In fact, most of the times I always think it's so funny, because nowadays, you know, you're watching on a Jumbotron,
sure,
right? One of the best concerts I'll say that I went to in recent years was Billy Joel. Oh my gosh. And Sting. But those guys, they're singing it in the same key. They're not having to lower it to the bass clef or whatever, how many keys down.
Yeah.
The Billy Joel, though, one of the best concerts. And I think he's doing kind of his goodbye tour right now. I think.
Really?
I don't know. I'm mixing them all together. We were just in New York and we didn't go see him. The tickets it was like $600 US, and I didn't want to pay that. And also, it's like we're there for a short time, but it would have been good. But I've seen him before, so it was fine. But man, if you get a chance to see Billy Joel, you will not be disappointed at all. Even if it's a $600 ticket, I would say that's it. That's one worth seeing.
Yeah, you'll have that $600 ticket and that $18 beer, and it won't bother you. Click, 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 click.
That's right.
Entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Visit sacredmeds.com.
on to the numbers and then to the letters. Let's spell out the name of the game. Ain't over this. Think I'll try something else. Ain't over this. Ain't over this. Think I'll try something else. Ain't over this. Ain't over this. Ain't over this. Ain't over this.
That band is called Dusk Note, and a new song for them is called One Word. So the drummer of Ninja Spy, Adam, is in that band. And if you know Ninja Spy, talk about a difference in sound, in texture, in mood, in overall energy. Very cool. Dusk Note. And I'll be keeping an eye on those guys and an ear to the ground, so to speak, for their live dates. Got to see those guys live. Looking forward to next week. We'll take you on a trip down memory lane and an overall best of this podcast and some highlights from heavy hitters we've had on over the years, like Nickelback singer Chad Kroeger.
I think that I would try to be a little more giving with my time to any of the women in my life.
In sports, a highlight was certainly having retired NHL goaltender Kirk McLean in the studio.
Brett Hall, I always seemed to have a little bit of trouble with him. He just found a way to get open and bang it in the net.
And Sons of Anarchy actor Kim Coates. What a trip to have him on.
But when Bruce walked on that set for the first time to meet him, he was a movie star. He is a movie star.
So yeah, that's the plan for our next podcast. Hashtag Over the Years. The best of the best members of Def Leppard, Smashing Pumpkins, a former UFC champ, 5-time national event winner for NHRA, a great comedian, a naked news host. It's a pretty fun week. Of course, huge thanks to this week's guests, Lajon Witherspoon of Sevendust. Been way too long, bud. Great to connect again. Let's hang out and grab a beer or whatever next time you guys are playing in Vancouver. WBFF Pro Hitch Fit owner Diana Chaloux, thank you for taking the time. Keep up the good fight. And TV host Don Chubai, your visit should have come, let's be honest, way sooner than it did. I love your air. Thank you for hanging out and telling some of your story. Proud of you for firing up livesellingschool.com. Head down and keep grinding. And that is going to wrap up this one, episode 313. My name again is Todd Hancock. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends about us. I see it daily on social media. Appreciate the love, big time. Word of mouth is a huge way that this podcast grows. So thanks. We're also part of the Realm.fm network. You can subscribe once again on iTunes, Spotify, Megaphone, SoundCloud, YouTube. Follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Comment and rate the podcast. Simple search of Toddcast Podcast. You'll find us. Huge thanks to all of our excellent sponsors. You can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info is at the homepage. Shoot me a note. have a coffee, have a beer, see what's up. And if you help us find a sponsor, we will give you a commission. Send a business our way. We'll take care of the rest. Till next time, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.